You're watching Global Exchange Hub on Afrovibes TV. I'm Barbara Sam, where we connect local conversations to a global audience across business, entrepreneurship, and so much more. Joining us today is a woman that's not only beautiful, but also intelligent. She has been newly crowned the Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA 2025. We have an exclusive interview with the newly crowned Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA 2025. Help me welcome Josephine Nwaogu.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, Josephine, you representing Enugu State,
Yes, I did.
but you're also from Abia State. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I represented Enugu State in the pageant, but I hail from Abia State. My family is from there. And honestly, it was a gift that I didn't know that I had. It was beautiful learning about Enugu State culture and also learning more about my state as well and the becomings of the state. Like, for instance, Enugu State broke off from Anambra State and Abia State broke off from Imo State. So those were things that I share with other people that they themselves didn't know. So it was nice learning information that, many did not know here.
Thank you. Now, have you always participated in pageants, or how did it come about for you to be a contestant?
So this was actually my first pageant, but from a child to now, I was always very active. I was always doing something, whether it was sports, whether it was acting, whether it was singing, whether it was plays, choir. I was always very involved. And then getting into high school, I wanted to be closer to my roots. Being in the diaspora, it can be hard to connect back with our roots back home. So I was always involving myself in different organizations that was African focused, whether it was dancing through those organizations, whether it was putting on shows and performances, and just being around my culture and being submerged in it. And then seeing this pageant, being able to bridge not only culture, but community service, which is also something I'm very passionate about, it seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to go in there and be able to be partaking in something as beautiful as this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's really exciting to see that just, being active and participating and just being in the public eye has kind of prepared you for, being crowned and the queen right now for Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA.
Yes.
So you represented Enugu State, but you're from Abia State. So talk about the similarities and how you were able to connect two Igbo states together.
Yeah. So being from Abia State, but being able to represent Enugu State, it gave me the opportunity to do a lot of research and talk to Nigerians, not only here, but people who came from back home, and getting to know the insights of the states and how they came together. Like, for instance, my state, Abia State, broke off from Imo State.
Oh.
Enugu State broke off from Anambra State. And I didn't know that, as well as people who I spoke to from these states did not know that as well. So being able to learn not only myself, but with people here and, build on that with the performance I put on at the pageant was kind of like a mini history lesson in a sense.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. And then also being able to incorporate all the elements from Enugu State, like it being the cold city and me having smoke with my costume to serve as an ode to that was a unique experience. And just learning more about my culture through that state was a gift that I didn't know that I had at that moment.
That's exciting. So we want to know, as Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA, it's a platform that allows you to support a social cause, also to support like local initiatives. So talk to us about some of those programs that you are looking to do.
Yes, absolutely. So being Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA, I serve as an ambassador. So my goal is to promote causes that pour directly back into Nigeria. Specifically, my personal project is expanding access to education in Nigeria, specifically higher education. I am a child of an immigrant mother. I am a first-generation child, and my mom came here with English being her second language. So she learned English, she put herself through school, she instilled in her children to go to school. And being able to go back home and seeing how different it was for her family and her upbringing, and knowing that it was God that put us here, and knowing that it was certain opportunities that made it able for me to be here, it felt like a duty to champion this cause and to be able to pour back into back home so that other Nigerians could have, the opportunities and the access to those opportunities like I was allowed here.
You mentioned how higher education. You're currently a law student. So how are you balancing being a law student plus the new position as Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA, and also some of the initiatives that you're going to be working on?
So with balancing, we just take it a day at a time, honestly. I think law school definitely prepared me to be able to balance so much, because with law school, you're having to do classes, you're having to network, you're having to, figure out what it is that you want to pursue with your legal education and all the things that come with being in law school. So I think with putting on the pageant title as well, I'm able to build off of the tools and skills that I've already been working on, from honestly 0 age to now. And so balancing, I just take it a day at a time. I am someone who's a reformed type A in a sense. So I have a schedule, I have a planner, I have a to-do list each day, and that kind of helps me, take on everything at once.
That doesn't sound like a reform type A. Type A, for those that don't know, someone is just that very, straight, someone that's extremely organized, someone that's very disciplined, someone that's very, assertive, aggressive in what they do.
Yes, the reform part comes that if those things do not work out, then I just take it as it comes.
Okay.
And so I put the plan in motion. If the plan works out, great. If the plan for the plan just works out, then we take the day as it comes.
You have a plan for the plan.
I do.
But also just to be flexible, take one day, one step at a time, and then just because they say you fail because you don't plan, or you plan to fail.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Okay, you see. And so because you have the planning, talk about some of the planning that you did in preparation for Miss Diaspora Nigeria 2025.
Yeah, so with this pageant, there were multiple components. There was a fundraising component. There was the cultural component, which was a sort of carnival style costume that we had to come up that represented the states that we were representing for the pageant. And so that's why I told you that I got to learn a lot about not only Enugu State, but my state as well. In addition to that, there was also the talent. So with all three of those components, and then also showing up for boot camp and showing up for our meetings, with all three of those components, I sat down and thought, okay, how do I want to show up in this pageant?
Yeah.
I set out a plan for each component. The talent was actually the first thing that came to me. I had like a spurt of inspiration one night and stayed up to 2 a.m. in the morning and wrote my talent out. It was a song. So the first thing I had done like earlier on.
What was your talent? Tell us.
My talent was spoken word and song. So it was a hybrid, and it was a re-edition of the song Lonely at the Top by Asake.
Okay.
So it spoke to not only me, but Nigeria as a whole, and what it feels like and what it means to be a Nigerian in the diaspora.
Okay.
So I think that was a part that really, really touched not only the audience, but the judges as well.
Because a lot of people can relate to that experience. He is a really global Afrobeats artist, and he is headlining a lot of shows. He's doing a US worldwide tour. So that's just fitting for what's happening right now.
Yeah. And even with the costume, I think that one was more the costume and my evening gown, because they were both made in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
So working with my tailors and trying to get it here in time and then get it to Chicago in time.
That's stressful.
It was a stressful summer, but it was well worthwhile because they all came in, it worked out, and they were phenomenal on stage. So I think that was a majority of all that went into the pageant preparation before the pageant.
So it's great that you're supporting and working with local designers in Nigeria. Talk about how you were able to find them, or they were referral, you saw them on social media.
Yeah, so as far as the designers, they're referrals. And I think that's important because a lot of people, they see it on social media, but word of mouth brings more
credibility.
Yeah. Credibility. And that was a really, really big thing for me, because it's one thing to just say, okay, here's a designer. I, like what they're saying, which that can be done as well. But I feel like there's a personal sense when a designer knows that you've worked with somebody else and that person had high, ratings on you, and then referred you to somebody else. It brings a lot of credibility. And it's not just, hey, here's a name, you can pursue it, but no, hey, here's a name and I can stand by it.
So you're a singer and poet. Do you mind to sing us a little something of what your performance was?
Impromptu, absolutely. Okay. So I can go and Do you want me to perform the whole thing?
Well, we don't have licensing, so you can't perform the entire thing. We don't want a Sake's, label to come after us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can maybe sing a couple of bars or something, just so that the audience can see your talent. Sing.
Absolutely. So I'll do a short portion of the song and segue into that. It's lonely at the top, lonely, lonely, lonely. Money on my mind. Money, money, money. Don't care what they yarning about me in particular. Call me, call me, call me. I'm out here chasing mine, 'cause no one else will chase it for me. They say it's lonely at the top, but I beg to differ. Because when we climbed, an entire nation climbs with us.
Bravo! Thank you. Very, very short. It was. But you
version of that.
Do you have any aspirations to be a recording artist, a music artist?
At the time, no. But, we're not close to it. I really enjoyed performing that piece and would love to perform it again. I think it was a very fun thing to come up with, and I think it's very enjoyable for people to hear.
Yeah, I think maybe at some time in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if I see you release a single or an EP.
Hey!
So, pageants is a big thing across Nigeria. Beauty pageants, from this to that. There are a lot of young women that look up to beauty queens, to beauty contestants.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women that are aspiring to maybe enter a pageant or maybe be in Nollywood, Hollywood, or just the limelight or an artist, what inspiration do you have to just motivate them?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of these industries, as far as beauty and, pageantry is concerned, you feel like you have to fit a certain mold.
Yeah.
But that's far from the truth. I think in any space that you enter, what makes it unique is you bringing your whole self, you bringing what makes you stand apart and not trying to fit into a certain mold. I think that's a common thought that can reoccur in a lot of women, thinking that they have to look a certain way, or act a certain way, or talk a certain way, but that's far from the truth. In fact, because that becomes the norm, people are looking for what stands out, for what looks different, for what is set apart. And so don't be afraid to come as the whole you, because that's the portion that people need to see.
I think that's really important that you mentioned that, because we've seen across Africa, we've seen from east, west, north, south, as well as the Caribbean, bleaching.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen so many documentaries. I have seen so many documentaries and, exposés about bleaching, the harmful effects and what it's doing. That's been a really big thing. And I think recently a lot of people are starting to embrace who they are and their beauty and just how God created them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just talk about that, because you mentioned just being yourself, right? Not trying to fit into a mold, thinking that maybe this tone or this shade or, being closer to a European beauty standard is better. So yeah, just talk about that and just how women across the world are starting to really embrace who they are.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Beauty is not defined by one person. It's not defined by one standard. I believe that people are beautiful as they are. But at the same time, people can support or go after things that makes them feel beautiful. I think as long as you feel okay with yourself at the end of the day, then that's all that matters. Your beauty standard is not what is defined by a community, by a person, by any outside voice. Yeah. Your beauty standard is what's defined by you. And whatever makes you feel beautiful is what you should pursue.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're here with the newly crowned Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA, Josephine Nwaogu. We were having a conversation about so much, everything from her singing aspirations, her singing talent, as well as just her encouragement to young women around the world not conforming to European beauty standards. So just the platform as a queen, a pageant queen, being able to connect with the diaspora. There are so many Nigerians across the US, across the world. And I think it's been reported that Nigerians are the largest diaspora community around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a huge platform.
Mm-hmm.
For just right here in the US, what are some of the goals that you want to achieve from this title holder?
Yeah. So I think a really big thing for me is being a conduit from the diaspora to Nigeria. I think with people being born abroad, and then not being able to connect home as much, not being able to go home as much, there is a disconnect that tends to happen. And, they want to help, but they just don't know how,
Yeah.
or they're not in a position to go back home and help. So with my platform and with my personal initiative, I want to be able to bridge that, to be able to help, but not it be limited because of resources or be limited because they're not physically there.
Yeah.
Help shouldn't be just limited to just being in person. They should be able to support in a way that is meaningful, and impactful to Nigeria.
So you mentioned the diaspora. A lot of them are not, they don't have the resources, the means to go back and support.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of nonprofits that are here that support Nigeria. There are a lot of nonprofits that are in Nigeria that support Nigerians.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of people that are skeptical about supporting and helping nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
How can you, okay, I would say, what message or how would you encourage someone to support a nonprofit, whether it's here or in Nigeria?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like what's helpful for that and what's helpful for me is supporting what you can see.
Yeah.
So, there are so many things that occur in this world. There are so many things that we cannot control. And so I think if you focus on your heart posture and what it is that you're trying to do when you're helping, then that's all that matters. Focus on what feels right to you and pursue that. Focus on and align yourself with organizations that seem to support the cause that you're focused on, and go with that. Because there's only so much you can control past that. Just know that your heart was in the right place and that's what you intended to do. And so I think with that, there are so many ways and so many organizations that can be researched. And that's what I plan to uplift on my platform as well. Organizations that I align with, organizations that I see doing good work, so that people can also support that as well.
I think that's really great. And that's really important, like you said, to go with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to connect to local organizations with boots on the ground, and then also people that have proven results,
Mm-hmm.
people that you can trust, organizations that you can trust, or you can see the proven results, you can see the work and the action that has done. That's how you build a trust to go and support these local nonprofits, both here in the US
Yes.
and across Nigeria, as well as Africa as well, because Egypt wasn't built in one day by one person. So it definitely takes support. It takes a lot of people and just to pour into the lives of others, So I think that's really great.
And another thing is, if you don't see an organization doing what it is that you want to see done, you can start it yourself.
Yeah.
And like you said, it doesn't take one person, it takes a community, it takes a village, but Egypt wasn't born in one day. So small things are still big stones later on. So don't think that any effort is too small.
Yeah.
I think any effort is grand and big and still, has a purpose and will serve and will be of help to those back home.
So talk about some of the community work that you've done locally in your city and state, as well as what you're looking forward to be a part of across Nigeria.
Yeah. So I do a lot of hunger drives. I always volunteer around the holidays. And even with this pageant, like I said, a portion of it was a fundraising aspect. So the organization champions an unhungered cause. And so with that, I was able to raise over $5K that
congratulations.
supported feeding hungry Nigerians back home. And the goal is to feed 200,000 by the end of 2026. So that's a cause that I've supported. And as well as my own personal education platform, that's one that I plan and have been working on championing and getting started later on this year. So that initiative is focused again on expanding access to higher education. So doing that through resources, mentorship, and opportunity. So not just giving them, tools, but showing them how to use those tools and showing them how to, embark on higher journeys that they feel like they may not be able to without those resources.
I think that's really beautiful. Thank you so much. I think higher education is really important. We can see that the youth make up a large population across Nigeria. So being able to give them the resources and the tools so that way they can compete on a global scale is really, really important. So thank you so much for that work and initiative. And we want to know, when you're not, competing in pageants, you're not preparing for the pageant, what are you doing in your downtime outside of school because you're so busy with law school right now?
So when I have downtime, I like to honestly pour into my loved ones. They pour so much into me. So, and I'm able to, like, even being in Houston, I'm able to, hang out with my mom, help her around the house, see a lot of my friends, my line sisters. And I think that that grounds me and, supports my why and why I do what I do. And in return, that pours into the work that I'm doing. So that's what I like to do when I have free time.
That was such a pageant answer because you didn't say, oh, I like to go bowling, I like to do this, I like to go to the park, I like to work out. I think that's what the audience and myself are really looking for. Like,
it's the truth. But if you're asking for activities, I do miles. I walk miles on the park.
Yeah. Not that being with your family, that's important, of course. But we want to know, what are you doing,
Yes, no. I work out, I go to the gym, I go to the park. I also recently picked up with my brother, what's it called? The miniature
golf?
pickleball.
Oh, pickleball. Yes, that's a really popular, trendy sport.
Yeah. I'm not great at it, but it's definitely fun, burns a lot of calories, and it's just a nice gathering and a way to hang out with your friends and family.
Yeah, it's very social, very trendy sport activity, pickleball. Yeah. So okay.
And then there's just like the competitive side. So when I'm not competing on the stage, I can still compete on the field.
She's very competitive, in law school, so you have to be, right? What type of law are you practicing or looking to practice?
Yeah, so currently I'm in my last year of law school. And the law I'm working on an IP concentration, so that's intellectual property.
Okay.
So I'm currently the chief of the Small Business and Trademark Clinic, and in the summers I've worked with companies that focus on intellectual property, and what that entails is trademarks, copyrights. I essentially want to help protect things that we create.
Yeah.
And not just, everybody, but especially with the Black community. There's a lot of intellectual property that goes by unprotected because we just simply do not know. And so I'm hoping that with my presence in this field, I can be able to bridge that gap as well.
Can you give the audience some examples of what intellectual property is and why you need to protect it?
Yeah. So for instance, if I come up with a company tomorrow, right, and my name is X, Y, and Z. Trademarking that name gives you the ability to protect that name so that nobody else can use that name and profit off of it.
Okay.
A real world example is, if you're familiar, Megan Thee Stallion's "Hot Girl Summer." That was a slogan.
Okay.
And that became very popular, right? But what happened was regular brands and stores were using it on T-shirts and souvenirs and things like that, but it wasn't going back to her, even though that was her slogan.
Okay.
So then she came back and trademarked the name. So now no other company can use that without her prior approval.
Okay, so let's just recap. As an example, Megan Thee Stallion had Hot Girl Summer. Hot Girl Summer was a slogan. That slogan was then used on merchandise that was sold across different things: T-shirts, cups, mugs, hats, backpacks.
Yes.
The people that were using the slogan Hot Girl Summer were making revenue, were generating revenue. Not one dime was going back to Megan until she or her team trademarked the slogan Hot Girl Summer. And then that's when she were able to receive revenue from the profits from the slogan being used on merchandise.
Right.
Okay, yes.
I was doing a little bit of trademark today.
Okay. I think it's really important for people to be educated on this. I think there was something with LOL dolls, something like that happened as well. I saw news. And also too, even with your voice, even with products that you create, formulas that you create for your products in the beauty industry. So I think that's really important. And thank you so much.
Of course, yeah.
The education, is definitely needed.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
We also want to know, Josephine, as Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA 2025, that is, again, congratulations to you.
So much.
That is a huge honor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge responsibility. It's a huge platform for you. So we want to know, I want to know, but I'm sure you guys want to know as well. What has been your journey for that? Because I know that it is, you're competing, it's competition, you are a competitor, but it's so much preparation that goes on. What has been that journey? What has been the defining moment for that journey for you?
Mm-hmm. So I think, and this is something that I'm sure a lot of women can resonate with. I resonated with it because I was raised by a single mother, but a lot of my life has been me championing things on my own, and me, I'm just going to get it done. I'm not going to ask for help. I don't need help. I can get it done on my own because that is what I have.
Super independent.
Yeah, super independent. And this journey was transformative for me, especially like I think that weekend when my friends and family came in, asked them, I was holding back tears the whole time, because this whole entire journey, I learned the power of community. This crown is not mine alone. I wouldn't be sitting here today if not for the community that poured into me, if not for my family and friends that poured into me. So this whole journey was a cornerstone of me understanding the importance of community and how much you need them and how much it's important to incorporate them. Even if you feel like you can do it on your own, this journey and what we, accomplish and what we do in life is not for just our own, benefit or our own receival. It's so that we can pour into our community and the people that will come after us. And so I think seeing all of that realized on stage with being crowned and my friends and family and seeing all of the hard work that we all did for me to get to this point was definitely a crowning and pivotal moment for me.
So do you have family back in Nigeria?
Yes, most of my family, if not all, is in Nigeria.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What has been their response?
Oh, they are so happy. They're so happy. It's so funny because I have to get adjusted to them, honoring my title and saying my title, but they are extremely ecstatic. And like I said, the win isn't just my win, it's all of our win. So being able to see their joy and the effort that they put in their support for me has been amazing thus far.
That's really remarkable. Mm-hmm. Now, are you demanding that they call you queen or or just, approach you with the title before they say Josephine?
No demands. That is all free will.
So you're a humble person and just, you don't take things too far. Just, yeah, that's great. So what has your mom said to you?
Oh my.
After you won?
My mom, it's funny, there's a video that was recorded of me on stage and her in the crowd when they crowned me. And he has her hand on her chest and she's just bawling. It's like, my mom has always been my biggest supporter. Yeah. So to her, there is no room, there is no accomplishment, there is nothing that I can aspire to that she doesn't believe that I can achieve. So I feel like for her, it's also been a surreal moment because she was right next to me on my side throughout this whole journey from, getting my costume and my dress made in Nigeria to getting to Chicago, to all of the mishaps and, hurdles that we had to jump through throughout this whole entire experience. So like I said, this win is not just my own, it's my mom's, it's my community. So she is beyond proud, beyond ecstatic. I think she may, if it's even possible, be more happier than I am.
Definitely a proud moment for her.
She's just a proud mama for sure.
Seeing you grow up and just raising you and then just your achievements, so that's really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that moment with us. We want to know, before we wrap up, I know you talk about the initiatives that you're working on, that you're planning to work with for our social aspect, the higher education. You've won. You recently celebrated Nigerian Independence Day. What were you doing for independence?
Yeah, so I recently partook in the Nigerian Independence Day parade and festival here in Houston. I thought it was only right, being that I am born and raised in Houston, and it was Nigerian Independence Day, and it was a fun celebration. It's always nice to see our culture, together in one room, in one area, and celebrating what makes us us.
Yeah.
And celebrating, not just the bad, but the good, the food, the laughs, the music, the joy that we all share because of one community. So it was a really, really, really nice event, and just it's always lovely to be around our people.
That's wonderful celebration because that was a really big event. They had the parade. They had a lot of cultural events centered around that. So who's your favorite Afrobeats artist? Give us the top 5.
Ooh, top
Let's
five.
do separation, male and female.
Oh my. Okay. Okay, top 5 in total in no particular order.
Top 5 male, then top 5 female.
So 10 in total.
Yes.
What if we don't have 10? Just kidding.
You have 10. I mean,
Okay. So I think top 5 for women is definitely Ira Star.
Okay.
It's definitely Thames.
Yes.
And let me see who else. Women is hard for me because I like a lot more upbeat.
Think about some of the veterans, some of the pack makers.
Let's see. Women is hard. I'm gonna have to stick with Thames just because
Thames
of
Ira
the
Star.
current music at Thames, Ira Star, and why is my brain going blank on this one? Because she is a path maker.
She is like the queen of Afrobeats.
Yes.
It's Tiwa Savage.
Tiwa, I don't know. Tiwa, forgive me.
I was waiting. I thought that.
She was in New York earlier, and I was thinking about her performance, and for some reason my brain was not remembering. But Tiwa Savage, those are top 3 for women. I also do top 3 for men.
But before you go top 3, because there's 5, I asked for 5, right? So I'll add 2.
Okay.
My 2,
Yeah,
right?
add your 2 to mine.
So that will be Simi. She just that R&B type of vibe, and then also Shay Shay.
Okay.
She kind of took a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
including those
Yeah.
3 plus my 2, so that's 5 total.
Yes.
Right there. Okay. What about for guys? Top 5. Even
Okay.
if you can't think of 5, then I'll fill in the blanks.
Yeah, we can share it.
Yeah,
For sure.
sure.
For sure, Burna Boy.
Okay. African Giant.
Yes. David Doe.
Yes.
Asake, obviously.
Yeah.
And I want to give you the last 2. No, I have 2 others.
New
Rema.
Okay.
Love Rema.
Yeah, he's exploding everywhere
And
right
then
now.
do my last one.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna say Wizkid. I know there's
Okay,
like a
he's an
few
OG.
between
He's an
David
OG.
and Wizkid, but yeah.
He's an OG. Mayor, yeah, he's an OG. Oh, Mayor Coon. Sorry, that's our last.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay, he has a couple of hits.
He's also been around. He's not. Yeah, he has hits for sure. I like this.
Yeah, that's good. Afrobeats is like it's global. It's a global phenomenon. It's a global cultural, music scene right now that's really putting Nigeria on the map. A lot of collaborations, so that's great. Yeah.
And it's so interesting because, before Afrobeats was just a thing that we shared, like, in the diaspora, like, with the Nigerians. So, like,
right.
being able to go in stores and
they're playing it on the
events,
radio.
and I'm hearing a Burna Boy on the radio. I'm like, oh, this is different. Because, at first, it was something that we shared and it wasn't something that was celebrated on a global scale.
Right.
So it's been beautiful to see that and see, our culture and our music be shared like that because it's very beautiful and worth sharing.
And also the food too. Like, I've seen so many people on social media just like, oh, this Abba, this food boy. And I'm like,
what's your favorite Nigerian dish?
I have a few. So
one.
Okra.
Okra. My mom just made that for me.
Okra.
When I came back, if you had told me, I would have had it for you.
But see, for me, I don't eat meat. So it's really challenging for me to find Nigerian food. It has to be like specially made for me by someone that I know. Because a lot of restaurants, they don't cook
the meat.
Yeah, the stews and soups without meat. So it has to be like custom, but definitely okra. I even know how to make it myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you teach yourself? Or
My cousin taught me, yeah. My cousin is so
okay.
She taught me.
That's my favorite to date since I was a kid.
Yeah,
Big
girl.
blessing.
So shout out to Robin. Shout out to Uncle Robert. Thank you.
You did a good job. I haven't tasted it, but I'm sure it's great.
The next time you're in Houston, I'll definitely make some special
have
for
to.
you. But it won't have meat. It'll have seafood.
That's okay.
But
That's okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll eat them. Don't worry.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Before you go, you're wrapping up school. You're just newly crowned Miss Diaspora Nigeria 2025 USA. That's so exciting. I want to applaud you. Are you going to Nigeria for Dirty December?
So I went to Nigeria last year.
Okay.
I went to Nigeria last year, and I would absolutely love to go again this year. That's still in the works, but can't confirm or decline or deny at this point.
If you go, let me know.
I will.
Let me know if you're going. But yeah, thank you so much, Josephine. Congratulations to you again. This has been such a joy just talking to you.
Likewise.
And also to just getting more insight about your journey and what we should look forward to as the Miss Diaspora Nigeria USA 2025.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
It's been great. Thank you so much. You're watching Global Exchange Hub. I'm Barbara Sam. Stay tuned for more conversations connecting the world.